you've made the decision to move to Phoenix, but you're wondering, do I go with a new home or a resale home? What are the benefits, pros and cons for each of them? Don't go anywhere because I'm going to break it down in little tiny detail right after this. Hello, this is Sheryl Willis over at the Real Agent Now group right here in Phoenix. And if you're thinking of buying and you can't make heads or tails about buying resale or new construction, what are really the pros and cons? Can you get a better deal in resale? Can you get a better deal with new construction? Well, we are going to cover that. But if we don't answer your questions, you know what you need to do? Pick up that phone, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. These nights or weekends, we want to be your go-to when you start thinking about moving to Phoenix. So give us a call today. Let's get started at this right now. So we are getting so many calls over the last 6 to 9 months, ever since interest rates went up and the builders decided to play nice. Look, don't be fooled. All those buyers that went directly to the builders over the last couple of years, let me tell you, the builders took full advantage of them and they paid top price plus. So we're going to break it down for you in this video. We're going to tell you now that, let's just say, full disclosure, you can bring in a professional to work with you, not only with resale, but also new construction. And here is why. Again, the builders took full advantage of buyers that weren't represented. Most people, whether you're thinking about new construction or not, people gravitate towards newer homes. They want the more modern style. They want something super sleek or straight line. They also don't want the additional maintenance that comes possibly with an older home. Here's the caveat. If you are looking in a higher demand area, chances are they started building there a long time ago and they have a lot of things that drew you to the greater Phoenix area. Perhaps it was top-rated schools. Maybe it was the amazing entertainment, live music, festivals, outdoor activities from hiking, biking, swimming. Maybe it was a lake community. Maybe it was because of the freeway access to connection to the rest of the Phoenix area because you travel or do business a lot. Look, the closer you go into all these high-demand amenities, those are the areas that have been built up for 10, 20, 30, even 50 years. The city of Tempe was landlocked before I even moved here in the mid-90s. So there was very few homes that were built after the mid-90s. And as we continue to grow, we just keep going out further and further and further. Now, if we look at new construction, again, everybody is just so gravitated towards going online, whether it be Zillow or directly with the builders. They're going to go online and they're going to look at these absolutely beautiful homes. Now, here's the thing too. Newer construction has a whole different type of architecture. It has a totally different flow in the floor plan. Look, when I grew up and even in the early 90s when I was raising my children, it was so normal to walk into a grand entryway and then you would have the formal living room. And when you would have the holidays, that's where you put your Christmas tree or you'd be entertaining your guests. And then you usually had the dining room off of the living room, closed off from the kitchen. And then in a totally separate part of the house, you would have a family room. And as we gravitated towards the turn of the century, gosh, that makes me sound so old, we started to see that more family togetherness concepts. And I remember the first terminology they used was called great rooms. And then they just kept getting bigger and bigger. And now everybody loves that super open living with the taller ceilings and the kitchen that goes right on out into the living space. And I'll tell you, some people don't even have formal dining rooms or formal table areas, let's just call it that, because you can do whatever you want with these open spaces. The kitchen counters are so ginormous in today's new construction. But now here's the thing. I built my home, or my original built my home in the mid-90s. And of course it got outdated. And as I'm starting to see all these amazing new ideas and open concepts, etc., I was like, I need a new house. But just like you, I wanted to be near everything. I already had the location. I just wanted to retrofit my home into something that I enjoyed. Well, let me tell you, I knocked it all the way out. Walls, cabinets, flooring, and I kind of started all over again, added a whole new center island, turned it sideways, made it literally 5-6 times the size that it was originally. So if you want newer style homes, that doesn't necessarily mean you need a new home. Let's break it down though. What is the difference cons, like pros and cons for new construction versus resale, because that's why you're here, right? Okay, the best part about new construction is everything is brand spanking new. You don't have to worry about anything for a good 10 plus years, maybe even 20 or 30 years. First of all, the builders are using superior, well, I shouldn't say all of them. See, that's why you gotta work with us. But the materials that even the lowest end builder is using are better than the lower end builder back 20, 30 years ago. So if you buy a home that was built in the 90s, and you can tell, and you can ask me what I think about that builder, if that builder is still even around, but you can tell by the construction of the home, the architecture, what quality a builder this was. The higher quality builder back then, some of those items that are very expensive are still usable. What am I talking about? More specifically, I'm talking about roof. So the roofs here last around 20 to 25 years. If your home was built in the 90s, and I know that you're probably thinking, well, why has it changed? Well, the most important part of a roof is called the underlayment paper. And the underlayment paper back in the day, the builders were using what they call a 20-year grade. Today, when I got my new roof on, I have a 40-year grade. Now, will I replace my roof in 40 years? Probably won't be here. But the point is I have it inspected every 5 years. That was part of the warranty. And so we take care of the little problems, but no, I will not have to replace my roof for a good 40 years. If you buy a home today, most of the builders are using at least 30-year paper. So if you're buying a new construction home, there's one thing you don't have to worry about. The other part of that, and it kind of goes with the paper, the underlayment paper, is the homes being built today are super energy efficient. And I am talking everything from windows to insulation in the attic to the actual insulation in the walls that they're doing. They didn't do that back in the day. We're talking about the canned lights that are now energy efficient, LED. We're talking about the right proper ventilation in the attic to cool it in the summer. And I wouldn't say cool it, but having an open area with a fan, etc. Everything has completely changed. Not to mention the next big ticket item, and that's an air conditioning unit. Here's the thing. When we go to resale homes and we ask, is the roof the original roof? Their immediate response is, it is, but everything is fine. Well, you don't know it's fine until you remove the tile, and nobody removes the tile to check on a roof, so you don't know. And the same thing with air conditioners. Even if it was an air conditioner that was 20 years old, it probably still is running. Even if it was 10 years old, it is still running, but it's not as efficient as a new construction home with a brand spanking new air conditioner. I'm telling you. So you're going to save in some areas. Here's the other part. You're going to pay top dollar for absolutely everything. Here's something that new construction buyers don't realize. The typical builder has a design center. You go and pick out flooring, appliances, carriage lights for your garage. Instead of maybe having a plastic shower curtain, you're going to have a glass closure. Like, all those little things are added on from the base price. It's kind of like, remember back in the day when flying an airline was like first class everything? You got your wine, you got your snacks, maybe you even had a full lunch. Remember all that? Free movies. And then they started coming up with the whole a la carte thing. I think Southwest was maybe one of the first. And they were like, no frills, airlines, you just pay one great price. They throw you some peanuts. Well, they used to. I think you get pretzels now, right? My point is the builders have started to do that too. Well, they always have, but people don't realize that. So when you see from the low 500s, what you're going to want to do, let's just say that it says from the 529s. That sounds like something reasonable. 529, and then you're going to add a minimum of 15%. So that 529 home actually starts coming up at 608. So the only builder you're going to find that's all inclusive, because we want to make it easy for you, is not a very good builder. And they're probably the number one builder that got the most complaints, have kept people's earnest deposits, and have had the shoddiest work we've all seen in the country. So when everything's included, not everything's included, but what they mean is you can't add anything on. We don't care if you're willing to pay for it. They're not willing to bend their rules because they have everything down to the penny. In fact, I know of some communities that don't even let that builder in anymore because they just want to do cookie cutter everywhere throughout the county. And a lot of communities don't want that. So if you're curious about that builder, you're going to have to either comment below or give me a call. All right. So the builder pricing wise, you're going to pay the top dollar for everything. Here's another thing. One of the things, it's funny, you go into the models and you just get soaked in. And I'm telling you, this actually happened. I walked into a new construction home. The base price was between $690 and $800. My client's price point was $1 million. So I knew with the 15%, maybe even a little extra, they would meet that $1 million price point. When we went in there, they said the first model is right over here, starts at 1.8, and then the second one was almost 2. And I was all, how did we get to 1.8 from 6.8? Well, we do what they call a design selection. So we upgrade everything for you, and then you just pick out the textiles. It was the biggest fake I ever did see. And it's funny how that builder, actually a lot of builders, when interest rates went up, the builders went, oops, and they lowered their prices. And now they're offering buy downs, and they'll cover your closing costs. If you want to know more about the buy downs, please give me a call. It's rather detailed, but kind of boring if people aren't interested in it, so I'm not going to talk about it. Here's some of the negatives for new construction. Like I said, full price for absolutely everything. The next thing is backyard. At this time, in the last year, and we write a lot of contracts, we've only found one builder that would allow our client to put the pool in their mortgage. But again, you're going to pay for that. Meaning, even if the pool builder only charged $60,000 because you were going through the builder to do it, it was $80,000. I'm telling you, you're going to pay over the top full price plus if you go to new construction. The backyard, people have no idea what it costs to go in the backyard. Let's take a look at some of these pictures. I want to show this to you. This is a home that is only 2 years old. It's not even 2 years old. It's 18 months old. The homeowner bought the home, put all their love and money into this home, thinking they were going to be there for a very long time, and husband got transferred. Sometimes it's worth it to pick up and leave and start all over again. Let's take a look at some of these pictures, because I don't know if people see the value in resale when it can be there. All right, so this first picture, this room alone, now there's not a lot of upgrades in this home from the builder. Most of these have been done after the fact. So the first one here is this entire home has ceiling fans. This larger ceiling fan's $500. Throughout the home, you have $200 ones, so probably a couple $1,000. This shiplap wall, super high demand. Everybody loves this. That's going to be about $1,400. Just from the exterior, also having pavers in your driveway as opposed to concrete, it's usually based on a cost per square foot, but this one was about $3,500. And one of the things I just want to point out is also this landscaping is 2 years old, so it's beautiful and mature, and something that when you buy brand new construction, it's like these itty bitty plants. They use the littlest, tiniest 3-gallon plants, and you got to wait for it to come in. Some of these other upgrades are going to be like backsplash in the kitchen, extended tile areas. It's going to be the appliances, so the refrigerator, the washer, the dryer. In the bedrooms, they also had some coifred ceilings. They had more ceiling fans. They had a barn door. Just that barn door was over $1,000. And again, this is aftermarket. The garage has a side door, which people don't realize that. I paid mine. I remember it was $900. Now it's like maybe $950, $1,000, but still, who wants to pay for a door on the side of your garage? How about garage cabinets? Those usually stay and can be negotiated, especially who wants to bring cabinets across the country, right? But that is a huge value. Here is where the biggest money is spent on this particular home. Look at this backyard, and by the way, it's only half. We're talking pavers, which are very expensive, again, based on a cost per square foot like this. They have a putting green and turf. So we're talking low maintenance. You still want to put in the drip system, which we didn't even calculate in here. Just to do the drip lines and water system with an auto timer, you're probably talking about $4,000 in the backyard. We have gas line that's put in here for a fire pit, and then the pergola, which you still can't even see. There's power to the pergola as well. So overall, on a very, like, again, just guessing, it's going to be about $25,000. But then take a look at the other side of the backyard. It is unbelievably gorgeous. You're going to have upgraded stone, not pavers, not concrete, all the way around the pool. That's travertine. That alone is about $20,000, $30,000 right here. We have a beautiful lap pool. We have a jacuzzi with a waterfall, and we're talking just on this side of the house, and you can't even see it in the backyard. There's also a beautiful fence. You have over $150,000 in that backyard. People don't realize what you need to put into a home, and if you were buying resale, it's all tapped into your mortgage. Now, here's some of the other negatives for buying new construction. Number one, it's quiet at night because nobody lives there. It is noisy as all get out during the day. I do have to say the construction workers are much better these days without getting nails in your tire, but the probability is there. So if you live in a new construction area area, you'll probably go through to a few tiles. That's weird, right? There's also just very little in the area. Let's take a look real quick at the proximity maps and see where the new construction is. Let me first show you. Everybody, as again, in the beginning, they start how low they can go. Nobody says, I want to spend, I shouldn't say nobody, but most people don't go, I want to spend $1 million, what can I get? Because honestly, you're going to see a ton. But they start at the lower end and they go up. Here is, if we start at the lower end and we're looking for under $400,000, which is not uncommon when people are moving here to the greater Phoenix area, look at how vastly remote these areas are. We're talking very specifically Buckeye, which is going to be in the very far west part of town that is 25 miles actually outside of Phoenix. People don't realize that. Then you're going to go up in the northwest area, that's Surprise. And right now, when I ask people when they live in Surprise, what do you like about living in Surprise? And the only thing they have told me is that they love the home they got for the price, and someday it will have more stuff, and it will. But right now you're going to be driving in about 25-30 minutes to literally just about anything. You might catch a grocery store or a Target semi near your community, but it is pretty desert still. Santan Valley, I love Santan Valley. If you live, work, and play in Santan Valley, you are kind of in a bottleneck. There is no freeway near it, nor will there be. And so if you are commuting to anywhere for any reason, it's not fun. Now, if we go up a little, I would say the more average home shopper these days that we're receiving phone calls from are looking for homes somewhere around 750. That's a huge popular number right now, up to about $1 million, a little over $1 million. So that high 750 to $1 million. So if we look at new construction around 750, this is where you are going to be looking. And you are still looking at some of the more remote areas. We are looking more specifically again, where you see that 267, that is going to be Buckeye still, Litchfield Park, southern part of Surprise. Also the 110, that's going to be Levine, Tolleson, Avondale, Goodyear. And then if you go back up to the northwest again, that's going to be Surprise and a little bit of Peoria. Now there's a few other little spots here and there. If you go to the top part furthest north and where it says New River, which you can't really see, that is an area called Norterra. And that is where, up there is kind of where Taiwan Semiconductor is going to be building. Until that facility opens, there hasn't been a whole lot of new construction up there. And again, it's still, you're kind of remote out there. If you're looking for something a little outside of the city, I love that part of town. Just be careful again with that bottleneck, because having only Interstate 17 as your main road in is kind of painful, like if you have a flight to catch. Now, if we go to the extreme opposite and we go to the southeast part of the valley, we have 95. It says there is a lot of construction in both Queen Creek, Santan Valley, and East Mesa. It's all kind of lumped together there in that 95. Now, if you go to the very bottom here, the furthest south anyway, is called Maricopa. That is where, honestly, we get so many people that start with Maricopa and they think it's within close proximity to the greater Phoenix area, and they get out there and they say, no bueno, too far for me, Sheryl. So we start bringing them in based on their price, and more often than not, people wind up going here to this part of town, because although there is still a lot of open, and the funny thing is it's not desert and here in the Southeast Valley. The open fields, that's exactly what they are. Open fields and farmland on this side of town are filling in at a much faster pace than they are here on the west side of town. Overall, though, I have to say the west part of the valley is going to be a lower cost per square foot basis. And this is where we are seeing massive employment really starting to come in, and companies, and that's where they're projecting that we will see the most growth in the greater Phoenix area over the next 10 years. So if you are looking for these items, you're going to want to go for resale. If you are looking for, you want to have great schools, if you want to have choices for restaurants, if you want to be able to fulfill your shopping desires and it not be Amazon, if you travel a lot, if you are going to be going, maybe whether it be all over the greater Phoenix area, maybe you're some kind of a salesperson, or if you like to travel and you'll be flying in and out of Phoenix International Airport, you are going to really gravitate towards resale homes. Resale homes, we can find you in most areas, not all, but we can find you homes that either are relatively newer, And we can also find new homes. I just had a client close on a home last week. The home was built in 1986 and everything was brand new. New roof, new AC, new windows. Everything was brand new. New flooring, appliances, and it was only a mile from downtown Gilbert. Talk about location. So if you guys are thinking about buying new homes or resale homes and you have a lot of questions, areas, closing costs, like what does it really mean? Pick up that phone, give us a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, days, nights, or weekends. I want to answer your questions, so call me today. Can't wait to hear from you. Until then, have a great day. Talk to you soon. Be blessed and be kind. Bye.